The Calvinist doctrine of unconditional election is unbiblical. Now, here's what Calvinists do. They know that we're chosen by God. And who doesn't feel like God chose you? I mean, Jesus said, you did not choose me, I chose you. So we all understand that God beat us to the punch. Before we can make Jesus Lord of our life, he already chose us in Christ. But here's what Calvinists do in order to take away man's free will. Calvinists believe that the eternal destiny of man is determined by God alone, not your faith, and in no way is grounded in any foreseen merit in the sinner. God does not elect based on any knowledge or foreknowledge that the person would believe. So if a person is saved, then God saved him solely because God chose him. For those who are not saved, God chose them for damnation. Now, is that what the Bible teaches? Is there anywhere where it says God chose us not according to any foreknowledge on God's part? Absolutely not. Listen to Peter in 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 1. To God's elect, exiles scattered throughout the provinces, who have been chosen, now watch this, chosen according to the foreknowledge of God. He did have foreknowledge when he chose us. And yet Calvinists want to get into God's mind and say, no, but maybe he had foreknowledge, but not about whether we would accept the Lord. Well, how do you know that? Has God made you his counselor to tell you what was in his mind when he chose us? You know, when I chose Sonia to be my wife, there were a lot of things in my mind that made me choose her. I mean, I thought about that she's attractive. She's a good woman. She loved the Lord. She was in a good family. She was always attending church. So I thought, she would be a good wife, and I was right. I chose her. But to think that I just chose her without any thought on my mind, that's ridiculous. And so I'm the one that proposed. She didn't propose to me. So I chose her before she could ever say yes to me. So in a sense, God chose us before we can say yes. But Calvinists are telling you that there was no foreknowledge on God's part on whether or not you would accept the Lord, or on unseen or some merit on your part. Yet they don't know that at all. How would they know? All I know is I had a lot in my mind when I chose Sonia, and God's smarter than me. He knows everything. He has omniscience. And to say that God chose us without his omniscience, that's ridiculous. So Calvinists are taking a shot in the dark. And yet 1 Peter chapter 1 tells us quite clearly, God chose us according to his foreknowledge. So yes, we're chosen, but let's not try to figure out in God's mind what was the basis of him choosing us. All we know, he chose us, and let's be satisfied with that.